So, welcome to the training, The Secret to Seductive Statements. So, what we're going to cover, I'm going to show you how to seduce the siren song. We're going to talk about some seductive statements simplified, how seductive statements can change your life, and the biggest mistake most people make, the secret sauce to seductive statements, truth and seduction, and creating your own personalized seductive statements. So, how to seduce the siren song into full submission and get your siren on side to achieve your goals without any resistance. Well, we use seductive statements as well as our custom love language. So, what are seductive statements? Well, they are mini siren songs you use in daily life to focus your mind and vibration to influence your unconscious mind and inner siren towards what you want to manifest, feel, or think. So, how do seductive statements change the way you think and act? Well, they act as a new program you can tune your supercomputer and unconscious mind to, and you get to select how you program it. And you use repetition to install this new program and reprogram your mind. And we've talked about this in previous modules. And we all know from week 2, the program that is running on your supercomputer is so powerful, it can literally rip holes in space and time and completely change your life and reality. But most people today understand this practice as creating affirmations and affirming what you want through repetition. However, just stating what you want to think and feel out loud is not quite enough to make a real impact on your inner siren critic and get the results you want. You can't just go through the motions and almost just write lines or just say things, because the world is full of people just reciting their dreams and goals and not actually achieving them. Now, this is because most people create and practice affirmations incorrectly without even knowing it, which is why they don't always get the results. Now, there is a secret sauce I'm going to share with you, which would ensure your statements are seductive enough to your inner siren and your unconscious mind. They will seduce and dominate them without them even knowing you're doing it. It's truly seductive. And they will become so powerful that when you use them, they will work. And that is the art of making your statements seductive. So what's the secret to creating seductive statements? What makes them seductive to your inner siren and unconscious mind so much that when used, they can get them to do whatever they want and you regain full control? The reason to why most people get this wrong is that they just don't believe what they're stating or affirming to start with. It's just too big of a jump. And even though they may want it, they don't quite believe it, which is why they want to use them to start with, right? To change their beliefs in the first place. That was the whole point. However, if you don't believe something and you don't feel it and believe it and just pretend you do by just repeating something again and again, you are just wasting your time and your energy. These dreamy, generalized affirmations, they are seductive to the conscious mind. You think, yeah, I do want that. I do want that. But that's not who you have to seduce, is it? It's the powerful unconscious mind and siren you have to seduce. And she's lived in a world where she's had to be vigilant and is less trusting of other people. And she hates being lied to and is suspicious of everyone. And therefore gets annoyed and will ignore any statement she believes is untrue or a lie or are not specific and personal to her. But there is a more effective way to get her on side. Now let me ask you, how do you feel when someone tells you something you know they don't believe themselves? Or is just a blatant lie? Or you feel it's just so generic that it doesn't even really resonate with you? You don't trust them, right? and you're unlikely to listen to what they have to say or give it any value, right? Well, your inner siren is the same, and she finds the truth in a sea of lies so very seductive, she cannot resist it. So much that when you create your statements with the truth in mind, and your siren actually believes them, she will definitely be seduced and will do whatever your statements command her to. So, the secret to creating seductive statements: you must make them believable from where you and your siren stand right now. And understand the secret of incremental upgrading your statements until you reach your goals. You cannot take a too big of a jump in belief and expect your siren to come along quietly. She will rebel and cause you a lot of resistance. She just won't do what you say. To seduce the siren and make your statements work, you feed her one believable breadcrumb at a time until one day she has traveled the distance from your current belief to your desired one and she never even knew it. So the key is to make your statements believable from where you stand, and don't make the mistake so many others make and try and rush your siren into a too big of a jump. And remember, she needs to be seduced one step at a time. So I'm going to show you how to create your personalized seductive statements right now. And for this, you need your Seductive Statements worksheet, available for download in the resources section below this video. So you should have your Seductive Statements worksheet, and it should look like this. It should have a heart in the middle, and it should have all of these stepping stones. Now, these stepping stones are so important because into creating a seductive statement, there are certain rules. So right in the middle is your big statement or goal that you want to believe and affirm. And it might be something like, I'm worthy of love. Now, the mistake that most people make is that they just affirm this thing straight away. They're like, I'm worthy of love. That right out here in one of these stepping stones. And saying I'm worthy of love, it doesn't really feel believable to where they are. To the conscious mind, they might think, yes, I am worthy of love. But to your inner siren, she doesn't believe it. So she's like, yeah, I don't believe that. And she's not going to take any of the stepping stones, and she'll never truly believe this. Therefore, you've got one of the most powerful parts of your mind working against you in feeling worthy of love. Now, you're very capable of getting to a point where you're affirming, I'm worthy of love. But your siren, she's out here on the outskirts. She needs to be seduced one step at a time. And the way she does it is by going one stepping stone, two stepping stone, three stepping stone, four. And it might be even more stepping stones. But what we've done in this worksheet is each one of these stepping stones of a different color work at a different level. So you have to bypass. You can't just jump straight from the red one to the purple one because that's too big of a jump. But what you can do is step on one of the red ones to the dark grey, to the light grey, and then to the purple, the main affirmation. So what I want you to do when creating your seductive statement is, yes, first put your main affirmation you want to become believable and you want to achieve in the center, because that's your main goal. And then what I want you to do is, that might be, okay, you don't quite believe that. It doesn't feel quite right. You know, there's some resistance. So what I want you to do then is, in the stepping stones just outside of that, write something a little bit more believable to you. And if any statement comes into your mind, choose which kind of level it sits at. So if it's a statement that is so general that you feel okay with it, it might just be one of these red ones. But if it's something which is quite close to unworthy of love, like, you know, there are parts of me that people think are lovable, that's quite close to unworthy of love. But something like, I believe I'm a good person, that's a really good place to start, but it's so general that it's one of the first places you would start because it's so general. So how you create your seductive statements is you fill all of these stepping stones and rate them on a scale of how believable they are to you in this moment. So say you're right here and you're a siren and you don't feel that you're worthy of love. If you put something in the first step and saying like, I believe I'm a good person, I mean, that's quite believable, isn't it? And feel how you feel when you say it. I believe I'm a good person. That should resonate deep down somewhere. When you say I'm worthy of love, that might be too much of a jump. But if you say I believe I'm a good person, that's a great way to start. So that will be your first seductive statement. It's the first believable one you can say and believe. So you practice that one every day in the mirror, looking yourself in the eyes, and you say that one to yourself. I believe I'm a good person. Until you get to a point where you can look at a seductive statement, which is, one step closer into the middle. Something like, I have some good qualities, or I have good qualities about me. When you first start, saying I have some good qualities might be too big of a jump. That's why you have to jump one stepping stone at a time. You have to find whichever one feels believable. But when you spend, say, 7 days saying, I believe I'm a good person, your vibration will raise to a point where, saying, I have some good qualities, or I have good qualities about me, will then seem like the next logical step, because your vibration's risen enough that you will be able to believe and accept that new statement. And it's one step closer to that I'm worthy of love. And then so you say this one for 7 days. And then something like, there are parts of me that people think are lovable. That's another step that you could take and practice that one until you get to a point where the next logical step is, I am worthy of love, and you believe it. Now, you may have just 3 or 4 steps, or you may have lots of steps. But that's why this sheet is here, because you can fill up all of these ovals and even create more for yourself. And really just understand that the aim is to create a believable positive statement that is in the vicinity of your desired goal or affirmation of feeling worthy of love. And saying the next logical thing that feels believable to you. And then each week, incrementally upgrading them to something just a little bit more specific to what it is you want to believe or feel about yourself. And then before you know it, you'll be at the point where you believe and think your goal. And it's a way of seducing your inner siren very seductively and in a very gentle and loving way. So I've given you this example here of I'm worthy of your love. You can also turn this to, I have great relationships. Now, I know that may cause some resistance to people, but you could start by saying something like, I believe good relationships are out there. And then you could say something like, one day I feel I will find the right person. And then it could be, I attract amazing men into my life. Then it could be, I have an amazing relationship. So you really can interchange it and use it with anything. However, remember, you have to start at a believable place to where you are now. So be really truthful with yourself and don't kid yourself on where you are. You have to really be honest so that your inner siren is seduced. Because remember, she's seduced by the truth. So find a statement and create them that are truthful to you, and then incrementally upgrade your statements until you believe the statement that is your goal in the middle. And you can do this for every belief you want to change or every affirmation you want to affirm. Create some seductive stepping stones in order to take you from where you are to where you want to be. So what I've done is I've obviously created this as a Google Doc that you can literally click on here and change to whatever you like. So you can either do this on a piece of paper as well, by just drawing a brainstorm and then just brainstorming ideas, statements around. And you can always just do a massive brain dump. So put your desired affirmation or goal in the middle and then just brain dump. Just put whatever thoughts around. And then what you can do is take a temperature guidance check. So when you look at your seductive statements worksheet every day, just pick which stepping stone feels the most intuitive for you, the one that you feel feels the nicest to say that day. And you can just do it like that. So you can practice saying whichever one you're guided to say the most, say that until you're then guided to choose another one. And that's the way you incrementally upgrade to get you to a point where you can say your main affirmation that you want to believe. So that is the secret to creating seductive statements. Great. So now you have your seductive statements and you know how to incrementally upgrade them. You can sing them all day, every day, and really start to seduce your inner critic and empower your unconscious mind for self-love and happiness. You will literally be unstoppable with this secret. So congratulations. This now concludes this module. And I'm so proud of you for getting this far into your transformation. But we're not quite through yet. Next up, things are about to get a lot more sexy when we raise your consciousness and restructure your DNA with sacred sensual energy in week 6 when we unleash the sensual goddess. So, when you're ready, let's get into it.